Hand-separate practice. Should you do it, or is it a waste of time? Some teachers swear by it. Other teachers say don't bother. To some, practicing hands separately seems like an awful lot of work. Instead of doing one thing, and that is just practicing hands together, you're now actually doing three things. You're mastering the right hand, you're mastering the left hand, and then you're mastering it hands together. So it's not very intuitive. Now, from my point of view, hand-separate work is absolutely critical to efficient piano practice. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons why. Number 1, it's the fastest way to improve your technique. When you're playing difficult passages hands separately, you are rapidly improving your technical ability. Now, what is good technique? Well, it includes the ability to play fast, accurate, even, and relaxed. Basically, it means that the electrical connections between your brain and your fingers is awesome. So when is it not necessary to practice hands separately? Well, if you can play something hands together perfectly and up to speed without doing hand separate work, then don't bother with hand separate work. Most pieces include easier sections that you can play HT or hands together right away. But for the rest of the passage work, starting HS or hands separately will greatly increase the speed at which you learn the piece. Now, a second reason why hands separate work is awesome is that it is simpler to learn pieces. See, when you're practicing hands separately, generally you're using one hemisphere of your brain. But when you're practicing hands together, you're using both hemispheres of your brain, so it's more complex and takes longer to learn a song. Now consider this method of learning a new piece. You master your right hand. So by master, I mean it's memorized, you can play it faster than it needs to be. You master your left hand, memorized faster than it needs to be. You've worked out all the technical difficulties in each hand. All the technique is learned. All you have to do now at this point is play at the same time. Now that might seem like an oversimplification, but it's true. All of the technique is here, and all of the technique is here. You literally now just have to learn how to put them hands together. However, what happens is that when you start practicing hands together, all of that work that you did before HS, it starts to come through. And in a matter of days, it all comes into play in your hands together practice. So something that would have taken you months to learn if you just did HT work, you're now done in days. Now, a third reason why hand separate practice is awesome is that you can discover new hand motions. See, technically challenging music requires very specific hand motions in order to play fast, even, and accurate. Now, these broader motions are actually very difficult to discover when you're just practicing hands together. However, when you're able to focus on just one hand at a time, you're able to discover these motions much easier. Motions that will allow you to play with ease at full speed. Here's a little tip. Those hand motions that you're looking for are generally discovered anywhere between 120 and 130% of your final speed. A fourth reason why hand separate practice is awesome is that it promotes a technically strong left hand. Pianists who only ever practice hands together will always have a weaker left hand. Why? We see the right hand contains a lot more melodic material that tends to be more challenging. So if you're practicing hands together, each hand gets the same amount of work, so it follows then that your right hand is always going to be better than your left hand. See, those who do just hands together work hope that the left hand will eventually catch up to the right hand. But most of the time, just the opposite happens. The right hand just keeps getting better and better, and the left hand just gets more tense, which promotes fatigue, pain, and a loss of speed. But the hand-separate method can ensure equal technical ability in each hand because you can just spend more time working on the weaker hand. A fifth reason why hand-separate practice is awesome is that it increases your brain speed. So what is your brain speed limit? Well, it is the speed at which it has never been asked to go beyond. When it is asked to go faster, your brain speed limit increases. See, when you play hands separately, you can play faster than you can hands together. And when you play fast and faster, you're actually altering your brain. You're improving the connections between your brain and your fingers. You're increasing your brain speed limit. Some of my students have said that when they've been able to bust through their speed limit, they've had this like out-of-body experience. And I think what they mean is that like they're watching their hands play faster than they ever have before, and they can't believe what's going on. It's like there's like some separation that's happened between them and their hands. Their hands are just doing their own thing. What's happened? They've increased their brain's speed limit. This happened to me personally. One of my teachers, Andrew Marco, he taught at the University of Toronto and the Royal Conservatory of Music. He was a technical specialist, and he was all about how to achieve the greatest technique with the least amount of effort. And he told me once, he said, Josh, play the A minor harmonic scale 4 octaves, hands together, in 4 seconds. And I tried and failed. I mean, I didn't even come close. He says, what would you have to do to play it in 4 seconds? So I went home, thought about it, stared at the piano for an hour, and recognized that I had to totally change the way I approached that scale. My hands had to move totally differently. Well, I played it in 4 seconds and busted through my speed limit, and it was one of the greatest days of my life. So practicing hands separately will increase your brain's speed limit and have you playing faster than you ever thought possible. And there you have it. 5 reasons why hand-separate practice is awesome. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content, please hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time.